Welcome back, everybody. It is time for the weekend review, and I hope everyone is staying warm. It is insane outside in Indiana right now. We are getting like 8 to 12 inches worth of snow. I just got back from walking my dog, and man, what an adventure. I have not seen snow that deep in a long time. So I hope everyone is staying warm and everyone is staying inside. Thankfully, our job, we get to work from the inside, so that's a blessing, and work from home. So let's get right into what's going to happen this week as I'm analyzing both SPX and ES, and we are in a very pivotal spot. So we have actually not lost on the weekly time frame. We swept the weekly leg, and it caused a nice little squeeze, but we have lost on the daily time frame. And with that being said, we have hit some extreme resistance in SPX, and we are danger close on ES. And so we have reached a point where really probably Monday will be a big make it or break it for us. So let's get into the levels and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's my look at SPX. As you can see, this was our current leg to the high here, and we swept this leg like we talked about. And this was this was the sub leg, and this was the full leg. Okay, so we have not lost this, but what we have done is we have closed below the supports here, not one, but two supports. And this was a major move for SPX to not be able to close higher than this. Now, I just want to point out again what I just said. We've lost on the daily, but not the weekly, okay? So I'm not exactly sure which way this is going to go. We have basically some major levels that we're going to be looking at, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about here real soon. So just pulling this down, as you can see, we hit this major weekly at 69.29.94, and this actually was a big gap fill for us. And this was a major level. Let me show you how this worked here. So I'm just going to go all the way down to the 4 hour. We're just going to skip all the nonsense here. And you can see right now that this was a major touch here, and it pulled us back. And so we are basically sandwiched between this daily at 69.01 again and our weekly at 69.29. Right? So we have this 4 hour here as sub support at 68.96, and we have been sitting in here really since it looks like about the 22nd. Okay, so bouncing back and forth. I think it's pretty clear to everyone that if we get above 69.29, we move higher, and all this is tested, and we could just come back up to all-time highs. But again, if we move below 69.01, the daily here, we could come down pretty far. Now, the thing is we still have this weekly at 68.58 that's intact, but moving below this area here certainly shifts momentum in the favor of the bears. So we're going to keep an eye out for SPX above below these two massive levels as we've sat in here, and this is our big above below direction for SPX. Some I certainly wanted to bring to everyone's attention as it relies a lot, or ES relies a lot on the exact same structure. So we'll get into that very soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at VIX real quick. Once again, VIX is down here in the $15 handle. I have talked about what happens down here so many times. I've been blue in the face, and guys, we are still holding this daily at 1541. They W'd out here, which really could take us back into our big monthly daily resistance area at 1744 through 1762. This is going to be our big spot right here to overcome if they end up pushing higher for VIX. But if they pop this spot, once again, we could come into the $20 handle. However, we're going to use our 1651 weekly, which is very much tested for above below, to kind of guide us into this next section here, because as you guys know, I just take it one step at a time. So above 1651 takes us to 1750s, let's call it, and above that takes us to the next section, etc., etc. Okay, so you can kind of see what's going on here. They've come down, they've held the typical support. We close as we W'd out, and we're starting to move higher. And so, you know, I have to say this just between you, me, and the fence post. There is a possible chance that we could gap down. I mean, just looking at this, it is a little sketch. And I'm going to show you exactly on ES what has to happen for us to continue to move higher and where we break to go lower. So let's get into it right now. As usual, we're going to kick it off with the weekly TPO. And first and foremost, don't mind these lines here and here. These are We actually exceeded the weekly expectation last week, and my indicator has not reset yet, so this would be the 2 times extension. We're not worried about that right now. So what we do want to keep in mind, however, though, is our current weekly range average right now is 93 points. We did exceed this by 150%, or we did basically 50% more than we did last week. And so more than likely our 4-week average range that we're going to look for next week is going to be right around 100 points, 110 points. So keep that in mind. But here's what I wanted to show you. We have an extremely poor high here, guys. This is a very inefficient bullish imbalance, which leads me to believe that we could push higher and fill this in. Not only that, but I just saw one other thing. Technically speaking, on the week prior, we had another bullish imbalance taking us to 70.69. But like I always say, one step at a time, right, guys? So our first weekly bullish imbalance takes us up to 70.2675, and that really comes down if we can hold above the previous weekly value area high at 69.6625. If this happens, we could break higher. However, there is a level here that I'm going to show you when we get into the candlestick chart. So we need to break above 69.66 and hold, which is actually our daily that we're going to get into. And that could take us all the way up to 70.26. And then above that, again, we still have an inefficiency all the way up to 70.69. So, one thing at a time, but if they break above this, we could go potentially higher. However, looking at this, you can see we have a very large inefficiency down here, right around 69.20, that we need to keep our eye on. And this is going to be important again when I get to the candlestick charts. I will show you very soon. And ultimately, if we get down to this previous weekly value area low, we are going to have a significant headwind against us, and we could continue to push lower if one level doesn't hold, and I will show you exactly what that is right now. So let's go ahead and get into the daily time frame. I went ahead and kept this super clean and easy for everybody, and I actually just kept really what was very significant and very important. Really cleaned this chart up a lot, as you guys can tell. I figured, you know what, all this stuff has been wiped. Let's just keep it exactly what is important and forget about all the nonsense. We're looking for the quality, meaty trades, and so that's what we're going to talk about. And this is ultimately what we need to discuss here on this weekly time frame, guys. Okay, so right now, our current leg up, 69.03, very much untested. Okay, big deal, very huge deal. And please keep in mind, we've played this from the bottom up twice. So now we know this area, this level gets a reaction from the bottom up. So it should give us a reaction from the top down. Should, right? Doesn't mean it will, should. Also, we have our previous leg down. Remember, we drew this out last week. So there you go. This is our resistance at 69.77. This is directly above the previous weekly value area high at 69.66 that I said we needed to break above. This is also untested. This is technically the level we need to get above. And if you recall, I showed you the level of the weekly on SPX. This is basically in correlation that same weekly. So think about it like this. When I said, hey, if they break above this on SPX, we're good. Technically, this is already played on SPX and could continue to push higher. This level on SPX, the 69.29, would really be the same level as our daily here that I'm getting ready to show you at 69.64. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be cautious of the 69.77 weekly on ES, because they could pop a new high and pull back. Okay, so the two levels that you and I are going to really remember are 69.7775 and 69.03. This is our big above below here, guys. And then where everything goes to shit, honestly, is below 68.83. Okay, that's the weekly top down. That's the big leg down we talked about for many weeks. I'm not going to talk about it again. And that is where it all goes bad. So these are the two levels that we want to keep in mind as we are sandwiched in between this leg right here, as you can see. Okay, because we closed, obviously, right here at 69.33. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the daily and break it down for you guys. So as you can see, I went ahead and color coded this for everybody. I only put a couple dailies on the map here. I'll show you. I'll go ahead and hide everything else. There's only a couple dailies here. We have our significant pivot, 69.12, which is very much tested, and the highs at 69.64, which is very much tested. Okay, now you're probably thinking, well, what the hell are we going to play, Ryan? Because this 68.39 leg end is tested. The only other untested daily that I have is way down here, and that's our leg up, 67.94.50. But that doesn't mean we'll get there, and I'll show you why. And basically, it all comes down to those weeklies I was telling you, and the main one that's located at 69.03. Okay, so I put some red boxes here for you guys to make things really easy visually so that you can understand our resistance runs from 69.64 to 69.77. This is all reds, okay? And 69.03 is our only support that we have right now. So the reason the 69.12 is here, and I will show you on the 4 hour, is if we pull into 69.03 weekly, we want to reclaim 69.12.75, and then we can get long, okay? That is truly the only untested level I have for a long until we get way down here. And as you can see, in this red box, things get sketchy. This is all resistance. We know the 68.83 daily is tested, or weekly is tested. It was tested right there, okay? So I am not really looking to buy this. There is a 4 hour there, which we could lean on, but God, once we're underneath 03, we got a problem. Why? Because that is our leg. Again, when I drew it out for the weekly for you guys, this is what we're stuck in between, if you recall. Okay, so this is our big area right here. We either pop from here and do this, or we reject from here, or we get back above and continue to go. Okay, we don't have any other options here, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour time frame so that you can see what's cooking, but I think this is super crystal clear. I left all the other garbage out, as really we're just worried about what we're in right now. If we're looking for high probability trades, I'm going to show you what they are right now. So, and it's not much. So here we are with the 4 hour time frame. Now, check this out. This is important. Pay attention. So I got my red block here, right? We played this 69.64. Here's our previous weekly value area high that I was telling you. We really need to hold and break above. Well, don't forget this weekly is untested. So could they do this number? Absolutely could, okay? But if they push above this area, everything else is tested, and they will continue to grab our bullish imbalance, our first bullish imbalance, and go higher, as long as they can get above the 7,004 weekly, which is very much tested. And once we're above this area, I wouldn't be overly concerned. At that point, I would just be looking for a slight reaction and a reclaim to get long again. Okay? But as you can see right now, and again, the same applies for ES, just like it did SPX. We have not lost on the weekly, but we have lost on the daily, and we have lost on the 4 hour, which leads me to believe we can continue to push lower, at least for now, and we'll have to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit, expand this, just so that we can see what's cracking here. So here was our 69.12 daily, which I told you was very important. And here is our 69.03 weekly. Here is the touch that I was telling you, okay? So you can see the 69.24 hour is so damn important. And it has been tested. You just can't see it on this time frame. But this is really what's kind of holding this whole structure up right now. This and the daily. So it is in my firm belief that I think we come down at least to 69.03, probably, and maybe even in Globex. I think it's certainly possible, but we'll see. It really all comes down to the 69.20 and the 69.12 daily. But in order for us to get long, we want to see 69.03 play, which is also by the previous weekly VWAP, get back above 12. You could probably initiate your long here, 12.75, and back above 20.50. And then at that point, we should come all the way back up, because there is nothing in here untested. Nothing, not even a 1 hour. Okay, so back above 12 or 13, call it, and 20.50, we're going to scoot back to our upper area. But like I said, things get real shifty under here, guys, real shifty. Okay, now we have this previous weekly value area low, which I told you if we get below it, we're probably in trouble, right? And we have the weekly at 83. Now, there is a 4 hour at 80.50. Am I buying it? I don't know. I would probably be a little sketched out once we're underneath the 03. What I do like about it is it has the weekly there, but I mean, if we're looking at these red bars, guys, we know this is resistance, and we know this is trouble underneath, right? So I've laid this out super easy for you. Now, the 4 hour that I do like, and again, how much will it pay? I don't know. I like this 4 hour at 68, 67.25. I like this top down a lot. It looks really good on the 1 hour too. Like it. I'm a huge fan. Okay. So the 50-day moving average is there as well. And if I was to buy this, I'd probably be taking a lot of profits around 68.83, 68.80, and maybe runners into 03 if we're lucky enough. Okay. But I got to tell you, under 03 and really under 83, things get really, really shifty. If we come down even further, the dailies tested, our monthlies tested at 68.57, and the last untested 4 hours at 68.24.75. And I don't even like it because why? Because we haven't truly gained. So it might pop, but it might only come to here and then just die, which would be absolutely horrific for people who are trying to get long down there. So just remember where these red blocks are at, and momentum shifts really hard underneath 03 and really underneath 12, right? Because we need 03 to reclaim 12 to reclaim 20 to get up there, okay? But underneath 03, we got some serious issues, okay? But if we get above 64 and the previous weekly value high at 66 and the weekly at 77, we're coming all the way up, okay? I think this is very simple. It's very laid out, it's very clean, and it's very easy, all right? Now, I do have one other level that I want to show you that I am not putting much weight on, but you should know about it, okay? Now, and look at this. You trying to tell me this doesn't look droopy? Like, look at this. Like, this looks like we're getting ready to come down here, okay? So, with that being said, we're looking at the 69.03, right? This is our buy spot, basically. And we have a 1 hour level at 68.95. So, if the 03 gets bled through, about the lowest I want to see you get is 95, reclaim 03, reclaim 12, reclaim 20, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So that is what I have for you guys. And honestly, this is it. This is the layup. This is the setup. This is what we're dealing with right now. It doesn't get any more cut and dry than this. And as you can see, and just to be, shoot you straight, we've got these 4 hour levels and stuff. But if we start to break 83, 03, 83, more than likely, and I'm just going to say underneath 80, right? We'll just call it 80. As long as we hold beneath these areas, we're probably coming to the leg end, 67.94.50. This is our move to the high. And why is it in green? Because we're buying there. All right, 100-day moving average is sitting right here at 67.91. Along with our daily time frame, we also have a 4 hour at 67.86.50. And this, in my opinion, will get love. But if it doesn't, we've talked about it before, we know there's a daily and a weekly at 67.61.75. And we want to see this play and reclaim this low and ultimately get back above our dailies here and our 4 hour levels for our progression higher. Okay, so that is what we're looking at, guys. I'm just going to keep it cut and dry and simple. I don't think there's any reason to drag this out anymore. This could not be any more of a better trade plan. And I wish everyone major success this week. I really feel like it's really laid out for us, and it's going to be very simple. We're above this or we're below that, and you guys know what to do. So I hope everybody's staying warm. And again, just to let you guys know, I know I've been pushing this Edgeful software extremely hard. I use it every single day. I've been sharing it with everybody in the room, and this is fantastic statistic-driven information to help you stay on track, hold your trades with confidence, and hit precision targets. But here's the big deal, guys. Here's the kicker. They are no longer offering this service with a 2-week free trial starting the first of the month. You have basically 6 days to use my link in here to get 2 weeks free trial to get this kind of information. You can pull up so many reports, gap fill reports, initial balance breakouts, opening candle continuation, in outside day reversal stats, inside day breakout stats. You can look at this information for 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. All the data you need is here to make informed decisions about what the day might do. And they have this slick what's in play dashboard that gives you statistics all about what's happening for that day. I highly recommend you guys check this out. I've never seen anything this good. I am a big statistics-based guy. You guys know that. I push a big trade called the 80% trade. I've done the 80% edge, with the profile. I have posts all about statistics. 86% chance this happens, 74% chance this happens. If the VIX goes 20% on one day, we have a 90% chance of reversal in the past 2 days. There is a reason that I preach all this stuff to you guys. We don't know what the market's going to do, but we are traders and we base our trades off of high probabilities and statistics. Our process has edge. And what is that based on? Math and statistics, because we know over the period of time our numbers are in our favor, and that's exactly what this platform does. So once again, I'm gonna stop beating a dead horse, but I highly recommend you guys check this platform out. You can get 2 weeks for free on me, but they're only gonna allow it again for the rest of the month. It ends February 1st. So please do me you a favor, take advantage of this opportunity, check it out, take some screenshots, get the data you need. And I'm telling you, this thing is a game changer. I've got everybody in the room using it. I put it out immediately in the morning and keep everybody posted on the statistics. And we've had a great result from this, and people are loving it. So anyways, with that being said, please stay warm for the weekend. I will see you guys on Monday for the post-market breakdown. And all my trade plan peeps, I will see you guys Tuesday morning before 8:30. Cheers and have a great one. And lots of love on this wintry day. Cheers.